Hello fellow groomers, well, back for another update today. We've been trying really hard to try and get some information from various departments to see when we can or cannot open, and I've got one communication back from the Department of Business Enterprise and Innovation, and I'll read it to you here. So many thanks for contacting the Business Support Call Centre in relation to your query. So our query was, can we be considered as essential? We feel we're essential. We'd like to open from the 18th of May in phase 1. Is this possible? So it is, in relation to your query, it is a matter for each business to determine when they should reopen after reviewing the government roadmap. The department cannot give advice on when you can or should reopen. I'm attaching the detailed roadmap for your information and details of the current business supports available. So that doesn't actually tell us much more. On the 18th of May and the roadmap, it does say about mainly outdoor workers, hardwares, bicycle repair shops, and those businesses that were operating during Tier 2 restrictions. So Tier 2 restrictions was during the 24th to the 27th of March, and so there was some groomers that were open at that stage and were quite happy to function that way as long as you could apply the strict social distancing protocols that we've all become used to. So it would be more for kind of single operators and salons, people working on their own, or if you have a salon that would normally have staff that maybe you would only have yourself in or one person in on that day. On phase 2, the 8th of June, it's more indoor workers can come back. It'll be more suited to salons with more staff, so you may have to, if you wanted to open the 18th of May and then bring more staff in on the 8th of June. Again, it's working with the strict social distancing protocols. We've got to work with them going forward. This is our new normal. This is the way we're to work with. There are new workplace protocols that were announced today by, again, the Department of Business Enterprise and Innovation. They are available on the HSC website, or you can get the details as well in the Department of Business Enterprise and Innovation in their publications listing. And that applies across the board going forward, and there may be updates and there may be more strict bits added into it. So basically with those protocols, we need to have hand sanitizer available for clients entering and leaving your property, and you have to encourage them to use this hand sanitizer. Strict social distancing, so you're not to get within 2 meters of a client, keep your distance there. So considering your handover of dogs, whether you're going to get the client to pop them in a crate, that you disinfect the crate before and after the client has handled it and before and after you've handled it, or whether you're going to have a space, a hook on the wall or that they can hook a lead to. If they're leaving leads with you, it needs to be a lead that you can wash. You need to get that lead and collar in the bath and washed, as well as the dog, so that it is sanitized and disinfected with the washing. So I wouldn't be encouraging flexi leads because they're impossible to get into and wash properly. Actual leads would probably be one of the higher cross-contamination things that we will deal with. There would be more contaminants on a lead than there would be on a dog, because the lead is in the owner's hands as they cough, as they sneeze, wipe their nose. You know, it's something that they are dealing with all the time. So if you are taking leads off them, make sure that it goes in, it can go into the bath with the dog, that it gets a good scrub as well. So demarked client areas, so you have an area that the client is allowed to go to, stands at, a line that they're not to cross, so that because wherever a client is accessing, you need to clean and sanitize all areas that they are touching potentially. They all need to be cleaned, they all need to be sanitized in between each client. So there's a huge cleaning and disinfecting protocol needed between each client. Collection and deliveries are by appointment only, no walk-in clients, so that you have strict times for people to drop off dogs, strict times for them to collect dogs, so that you're not having any people meeting outside, no chatting, no encouragement of any social interaction with people. We need to have up our COVID-19 signage. You can get various ones to download and print off on the HSE website. On their COVID section there, they have an immense amount of signage that's available. If you have staff, you also need to have signage in your salon for your staff setup as well. All of this is in the new workplace protocols that you can, I will actually put it, I know a lot of people have done the pet salon pathogen control course. On the COVID-19 section there, I put in yesterday a new link for, there was new workplace procedures that came across yesterday, so I put that in there, and I will also put the newer one that came up today for getting your workplace ready for staff, and that I will put that in there as well, link there that you can access it there. We'll put it on our Facebook pages. I will be sending out an email as well to people. Another little interesting section that was in that new one was that Legionnaire's disease could be an issue as well in our water systems that have been lying up for 6-7 weeks. And the interesting thing about the Legionnaire's bacteria is that it actually likes the temperatures that we'll be washing our hands in. It gets even happier at that sort of thing. So maybe consider, if you have water tanks or that you may need to flush them out before you go back to work, whether it be the 18th of May or the 8th of June. So you may need to attend to that in your water systems. Maybe contact your plumber for the best way to sort that out. That brings me back to, you know, whether you want to open or not. This is completely personal preference. The good thing that they have extended the COVID-19 payments past the middle of June. That gives people more options as to whether or not they are actually comfortable going back to work yet, and it really is a personal preference after the 18th of May as to when you decide you're ready to go back, or you're ready to, that you can deal with what needs to be dealt with. The social distancing protocols and these workplace protocols, they are in place from now until whenever. I know they're looking at least Christmas, so it's not that this is just going to go away tomorrow. It's not going away anytime soon. This whole thing is about controlling it in the environment, that, you know, we're not getting a huge bloom again of cases and overwhelming the hospitals. There will be cases going forward, there will be infections going forward, and it's the asymptomatic people are going to be more of the problems that we're going to be dealing with, that more people will be potentially carrying it but with no symptoms of it. So there are our concerns when we're dealing with people. That's why we need to be wearing our PPE, that's why we need to be wearing our masks when we're dealing with clients. I will be wearing a mask when I am interacting with clients. Previously we'd said about, you know, trying to get your dogs straight in the bath, that you are washing them straight away and you're getting rid of any potential contaminants on their coat. I think there'll be less contaminants on the coat than there will be on their lead, but there are potential contaminants. So it may be a fact that we're going to have to clip them off now that we've been away for so long, and there's going to be more mats and tangles on them. So it may be that it's just going to be kinder for the dog to be clipped now, and washing a matty coat isn't quite a good thing to do. It takes hours to dry. So this might be something you consider. Our new sexy groomer wear. Nice big long gloves. These are super sensitive disposable gloves. Got these a few years ago when my mother broke both her wrists at the same time, and I couldn't get cast protectors for her to have a shower. So, something we could use when we're washing or when we're clipping off our dogs that are full of mats. Tucks in there nicely under the old strap, and I'm now sorted, one in each hand, ready for clipping, taking that rough coat off them. You can get them into the bath and wash them with that on as well. Get them from Mullinholme. Stephen might be inundated with calls for these, but yeah, new sexy little groomerware. Not going out anywhere, so I might as well dress up for the occasion. So yeah, there's many tools in our toolbox, as we say, but that could be something that could be of use for when we're dealing with the coats. The other thing was in that new section about mental wellness for workers or individuals dealing with the COVID-19 and the stresses that, you know, maybe you've had of being out of work, or stressed about going back to work, or stressed about the whole virus itself, or just stressed about the way our life has changed so much. So actually interesting that we've just launched on our online platform, our new course platform, positive mental empowerment course that will help you maybe structure your workday better, try and deal with the stresses of people a little bit better, and put yourself in a better position and better frame of mind to be able to work through this, and you know, get your work-life balance a little bit better. There, with the protocols that we have to do, there is going to be a huge delay in our day. I know it's going to be a big delay in my day. I'm looking at it, I'm probably going to have to lose at least one dog, one appointment a day. And when you have your day kind of structured financially, because we're, you know, it's our jobs, it's how we make our money, so, you know, I may need to look at that and how that's going to impact my end of the week type of covering all the costs that are involved in life. You hear my neighbour 2 doors up. Oh my god, he loves his little scrambler. Anyway, so dealing with this, it's not that we can just suddenly go back to work and suddenly go back into Christmas week mode. We cannot do that with these protocols. They're so strict, there's so much cleaning that needing to do in between bits and pieces that it's going to really slow you down. You've got to allow for that. You've got to allow for the changes that we have to live with now. As I said, it's not going away tomorrow, it's not going away next week. We have these protocols for the foreseeable future, up to Christmas at least. So that is where we are at. There is also, in the new workplace protocols, there is guidance for dealing with staff. Before staff come back in, if you are working with staff, you need to put together a staff form where there are about 6 questions that they're asked that they need to sign, that they're not under isolation orders, they don't have any symptoms, they haven't been in contact with anybody who's under any isolation orders, and they're not they haven't traveled or anything like that. There's about 6 questions that are in that. So if staff are being asked that, don't be afraid to ask that of clients. Make sure that they're not bringing anything to you at the same time. We need to get over the whole being nice thing to our clients. We need to kind of be a little bit more proactive on ourselves, and make sure that there isn't any virus contamination being brought to our door. So just to be very proactive with that, and don't be afraid to ask questions on it. Disinfectant to be available on each table for each staff member. If a staff member, if they're interacting around the salon, that maybe they all wash their own dogs, so they're visiting the bath separately, that you are disinfecting down the bath before the next staff member goes to the bath. It has to be cleaned down, has to be disinfected. Again, it's all in the workplace protocols, the new one that's come out today. So it's worth having a look at that. I'll put the links to that in the pathogen course, that you have it there. I put in a new one yesterday, and anything that comes up in the meantime I will add in there. We'll actually put on the Facebook post as well, and we will pop out an email as well for people to keep up to date with all of that. So good luck with your grooming, guys. When you're going back, whenever you're going back, it's completely up to you. It's got to be right for you, and just keep up the good work, keep up the cleaning and the disinfecting and availing of the protocols. Do remember, anybody going back on the 18th of May, the HSE will be calling on any businesses that are opening up. They may call to your door. If you're not complying with the guidelines, they will close you down until you do comply. So you need to get it all right in the first place. So read all the information that we have for you, apply it to your salon, do better if you can, and just make your workplace as safe as possible for you. Alrighty, take care everybody.